So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start building out some of these different screens that are going to house like things like shopping interests, categories, deals, etc. So let's jump right in. I'm going to close my plugin because I'm not going to need it yet. And I'm going to zoom out. Okay. Now, I think what makes sense is to start just maybe we can pick a couple. I'm going to start with shopping interests. So I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to name it. Now, you can just follow along with me and you can go ahead and do your own thing. If you feel like you have enough of what you need to actually just get started, I think you should at this point. And this will be just something that you can watch just to see how I'm going through that process. And when it comes to the shopping interests and habits, it's definitely going to be a members only. So I'm going to just make a big note here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a login and sign up. Just like somehow prompt us that, hey, you need to absolutely sign up to go any further. So kind of like paywall over here. What we're going to do is make all these member only links, and when we can probably hide and rest. And 4 is going to be enough because what I have in store for this, I'm thinking where you can discover new products and maybe a way to see just like your general interests. And maybe a way to update them. And then you have categories. So you can have a bunch of different types of categories for the interests. And then you have maybe some deals. Maybe, this is definitely can work. The deals may be specific to your shopping interests. So I think that will probably good for shopping experience. So I'm going to move into over here. I'm going to just do categories and let's see. Here we go. So I have categories. I'm just going to keep these very, very open. They're going to be all public links. So I have maybe something like trending items or like trending categories. I'm going to leave that. And then we probably have like categories for specific like events, like whether it's something like it's Mother's Day or something like that, or it's a holiday. This is what you can get for your partner, maybe your friend. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff we can do with that, which would be really interesting. And then probably I like to say that maybe every page that is like a relation to products will probably have some sort of like deals section, just because we want to push people to stay within the app. And deals are probably one of the best way to do it, serving up like really good content like that. So I mean, I'm on the topics right now. Let's think about deals. So deals, we probably have like trending. I know Amazon does stuff, and other large retailers kind of do these stuff. So they have this type like lightning deals, like giveaways or something like that. Maybe there's a section for like giveaways. I think that's something we should maybe explore. And then we have like maybe deals based off the categories. I mean, this seems like a common pattern I've seen in on e-commerce site, or maybe we have a member only type of link where it's like content is more so around deals like just for you. I think that makes sense. And I think that's we're going to do. And when we get back into our next video, we're going to work on the other half of some of these links over here. So we're digging deeper into some of the finer details. And one thing I really want to point out right now, just before we jump right in, because we're going to get lost in there and just, go through the weeds of building out these pages and whatever content is within them. And I think another thing to really stress here is like a sitemap is so good for developing a content strategy. It is so good. Like you can already see that the type of contents links I'm trying to push through each page can make for some really interesting designs, really interesting experiences. And so definitely go through the exercise, even you're going to do it on a very lightweight, I mean, it's very lightweight. I don't like to spend too much time here, but this lets me think about everything from like a bird's eye view. Then I can make some of these bigger decisions little by little when it comes to the types of content. And that's going to be on each page, and maybe some pages I really do want to prioritize. So let's jump right in. So I still have a bunch of my duplicates over here. I'm going to drag them over. So I think maybe like the next thing makes sense right here. I want to actually talk about the card. We can work our way up now. So the card is going to be pretty simple. Let's move that out. It's a little bit distraction. So with the card, definitely I think there's going to be a section here and where it's like if you are not locked in but you have stuff in your cart, you should probably lock in. So I'm going to just put a login and sign up section here. Here, you should be able to go to the item in your cart, so you can probably go to an item listing. Or something like that product page. And then you should probably see maybe some similar items. I'm not sure how wise that is because in this point, we just want people to convert and actually check out. So I'm going to keep this one really simple. Maybe you have a big CTA to place, and let's actually do it. Okay, this is the place order. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the profile page. So that's next. We're going to have a bunch of member-only links. So I'm going to just make like maybe 4 or 5, just to cover all my bases. And close those one off. When I think about the profile page, like this doesn't need to be something that's super crazy. I think we should be some account setting here, definitely some way, or maybe see your interests and get to that section. Maybe this profile is a bit more involved, is I'm trying to get a customer service, maybe like a help center. I think that's pretty cool option. And then I think maybe your order is like a way to see what you've done in the past. I think that's it. I mean, this isn't a real big task I'm working on right now. We'll keep it really simple. So I have orders here now for orders, and I think we need to think through a little bit. We have probably like a search and filter. Probably the most important thing is like the orders that are in progress. So I just throw that in there. And then we have past orders. And finally, we have a help section. Beautiful. So, I mean, I think that's what comprises of an order screen search. Definitely in progress. We definitely see all our orders and maybe a way to contact somebody if something gone wrong. Maybe that's something that's like a fake section. I'm not entirely sure just yet. And then the final. The final screen that we're going to work on is wish lists. Okay. So with wish lists, this one is pretty simple as well. So you probably have like you saved items, and then you probably have a way to like go to those items. That's why I'm putting save items, and then we have maybe some sharing options. Maybe you can share a list with somebody. I mean, when I think about like maybe my partner and I are buying gifts for people, or we're trying to buy gifts for our kids and we have lists for each individual kid. I don't know, maybe like in terms like a workflow or a user flow. And maybe sharing options is what it looks like, and how you link out and support, internal third-party linking. I don't know, maybe some social media stuff. And then we have similar items. think this one's really interesting one, just trying to get people back into the funnel. And I think that pretty much deals that I think is pretty good, a sitemap. And we can go in search and talk about like what does it look like when you click search. We have like an overlay. We're getting more into a nitty-gritty of, maybe search results, search going to search results in progress. Maybe we can add one like that. But there's not much to really add there. I think that's pretty much it for our sitemap. Great job, everyone. This is, let's take a look so we can go ahead and now actually link them all. I'm going to delete that one. And we're not going to need it. I'm going to select everything and bring them down. And then we can, so shopping. Let's go to our plugin first. Really love this part. Okay, it sounds a little bit childish, but it's fun. It's like seeing everything come together. And that's perfect. Wish lists. We are going to have orders. Profile. Cart. I don't think this is useful to maybe bring login up here. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. So one thing I do want to note though, I mean, we can even go deeper than that. Like this probably isn't totally complete and that's fine. But like there are sections in here where like we haven't even mentioned like the product page. We haven't even mentioned certain things like deeper within a category page. And there's a lot of different things that we know, like looking to, like it's going to take a lot of time. I'm pretty much urge everyone to kind of keep on going deeper unless you feel necessary. That's how we create a sitemap in Figma. All right, I want to give you some very quick tips on how to build great sitemaps and not get stuck in the process. This may seem overwhelming, but it is really easy to pull off. So one of the big tips I always give people is don't think about two things at one time if you're working on a sitemap. You don't want to start thinking about where to put things while you also think about what thing to put. Keep it simple. Focus on one thing at a time and you will make way more thoughtful decisions. So when we're thinking about some of these types of pages, like, yeah, it's great to start thinking of this content. I love to, but we're not going that deep yet. We're touching the first layer, then, we're digging deeper and deeper gradually. The second tip I would like to give is to bring in your user flows. Now, your user flows should indicate the types of pages you need and where they may fit within the structure of your app. So I mentioned, search not necessarily being an action link, but this user flow is something that we already had, though. I know there's some sort of like intermittent overlay where they're searching an app to search results and they get to the page. So we already had an understanding of that model and that flow. So definitely use your user flows in your sketches. Now, speaking about sketching tools. Now, you can definitely start with sketching, but once you start to revise, move it over into an online tool like Figma. It's great to see like these structure maps that you can build, but ultimately this is where you are going to refine everything and move forward. I think another thing that people don't think about is color. I mean, you don't need to go crazy with colors. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have colors. I like to use colors to highlight things like screens that are maybe visible to certain users, like we have here with members only links. Also make your sitemap much easier. Just remember, instead of thinking of it and just like a black and white set of cards. And I think the last thing, this is it. Don't aim for perfection. Things are going to change. You just want to set yourself up for success and give yourself the best chance possible to succeed. You're never going to get it perfect. I've seen things like this thrown out later in the process. So when there's like some sort of large product, I need you to remember that. Once you have good ideas of what your product structure is going to look like, move on your wireframes deeper and test some of those assumptions, what you're making here, because these are a lot of assumptions. This is just giving us a nice little bit plan to move forward. Your same apps are not going to answer all the questions, but it will give you that starting point for your wireframes.